There are 7 continents on the Earth, and 6 of them have experienced human tragedies such as wars, plagues, and even slavery. Only Antarctica is quietly guarded at the southernmost tip. The harsh climate environment makes it the last paradise on Earth. With the development of science and technology, people have gradually discovered that this ice and snow desert contains a huge economic and strategic value. It even leads to secret wrestling between countries. Let's first look at what kind of place Antarctica is. Antarctica is located at the southernmost tip of the Earth, and most of the area is within the Antarctic Circle. It is surrounded by the Southern Ocean. The area is about 14 million square kilometers, twice the size of Oceania. However, 98% of the places are covered with an average thickness of 1.9 kilometers ice cover. The biggest feature of Antarctica is its climate. No matter how harsh the environment of other continents, you can find an area suitable for human survival. However, the cold and dryness of Antarctica make it impossible for humans to adapt. The average annual temperature in Antarctica is only -13 degrees Fahrenheit. The key point is that this is the average annual temperature. In winter, the inland can be as low as -112 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rainfall in Antarctica is extremely low, with an average annual rainfall of less than 200 millimeters, and even only 20 millimeters in inland areas. Among them, the most exaggerated area is the McMurdo Dry Valleys, which may have not rained for 2 million years. The average annual precipitation in the general desert is usually less than 250 millimeters. Antarctica is a vast frozen desert. The eerie weather conditions give Antarctica many unique and magnificent sights. In addition to the well-known aurora and sundogs, there is also diamond dust. This is a cloud of tiny ice crystals that reflect light in the air like diamonds floating in the sky. Although for many people, the snow-white land and rare wonders of Antarctica are a must-see tourist attraction in a lifetime, basically few people want to stay here. There are no permanent residents in the destination, but every year about 1,000 to 5,000 researchers live here. Other animal inhabitants include penguins and seals. Because of its remoteness, Antarctica has long been regarded as only a myth in human history. Antarctica was once connected to Africa, and after years of plate movement, it moved to its present position. Until modern times, the Russian expedition in 1820, this place was discovered by Home. With the advancement of science and technology, human beings have gradually discovered that Antarctica contains many unique values. The first is the value of resources. According to the current limited survey and assessment, there are no more than 20 kinds of minerals in Antarctica, and only iron ore is enough to supply the world has been used for 200 years. There are also coalfields with a storage capacity of about 500 billion tons. Other mineral reserves such as copper, lead, and zinc is also very rich. In addition, there are oil and natural gas in the waters near Antarctica. The oil reserves are estimated to be 50 to 100 billion barrels. If compared with the global oil-producing countries, it can be ranked in the top 10. Although Antarctica is rich in natural resources, 2 things have made human beings still not vigorously exploited. The first is that the Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty strictly prohibits the exploitation of these resources. However, this regulation is valid for 50 years from 1998. The development agreement after expiration has not yet been planned. The second is that the local environment is harsh, and it will face expensive operating costs. There are still biological resources in Antarctica, and there are 6 to 12 million tons of krill in the vast Southern Ocean. Krill is the most critical link in the local biological chain. It is also known as the most sustainable seafood fishing operation in the world. Every few months, more than 10 international fishing vessels will arrive in Antarctica. After the krill is caught, will be made into krill oil capsules that claim to have health benefits. The price is 3 to 4 times that of fish oil, which is widely welcomed by the health food market. In addition to the value of resources, it also has important scientific research value. Thousands of years ago, the air bubbles in the ice layer contained the ancient air of the Earth. By studying this ancient air, we can understand the changes in ancient climate. An ancient pollen can help humans know the distribution and evolution history of plants on the Earth. The strategic value of Antarctica should not be underestimated. In the era of space warfare, Antarctica, which is suitable for sending, receiving, or intercepting satellite signals, is the target of competition from major powers such as the United States, China, and Russia. Whether it is the US GPS, China's Beidou, or Russia's GLONASS satellite positioning system, if it can add ground stations in the Antarctic, it can more effectively locate offensive weapons such as missiles. It even changes the global strategic balance, which is more concerned by countries than minerals and scientific research. Because of its many values, since the discovery of Antarctica, mankind's desire for conquest has been revealed here. The British Empire was the first to declare territorial sovereignty over Antarctica, followed by New Zealand, France, Norway, Australia, Chile, and Argentina, claims sovereignty over certain areas of Antarctica. It was not until 1959 that countries signed the Antarctic Treaty, freezing their territorial claims and setting extremely strict constraints. Antarctica includes all land and ice south of 60 degrees south latitude. Scientific research and environmental protection can be carried out, but any military actions are prohibited. Later, under the pressure from international environmental protection organizations, countries signed the aforementioned Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty in 1998, which does not allow any scientific research, mineral resource extraction. Antarctica also benefited from these regulations and had a peaceful time. The Antarctic Treaty is now also considered the most successful example of international cooperation in the world in the past few decades. However, the validity period of the agreement is 50 years. By 2048, the agreement will be open for review. Before the deadline, the world powers have already secretly deployed their layouts in recent years. In terms of the current situation, the powers of major powers in Antarctica disputes are like the epitome of global strategic competition. They can be divided into China, Russia and Europe, and the United States. However, the current international agreement blocks sovereignty claims on the one hand and prohibits resource development on the other hand. How do countries have disputes? The reason is that jurisdiction. Take China and Australia, which have been arguing over Antarctica issues in recent years. For example, these two countries were good partners for scientific research in Antarctica more than 10 years ago. They signed bilateral cooperation agreements on astronomical observatories many times. But by 2013, China intends to set up an Antarctic Special Management Zone, and the location of the establishment is still the Antarctic territory claimed by Australia. Most countries are also opposed to China's proposal. At the same time, many countries also hope to establish Antarctic Marine Park reserves in Antarctica to significantly restrict fishing areas. For China, which is committed to fishing for krill, the proposal is of course rejected. Countries are still competing here. At present, to prevent countries from carving up Antarctica, the review of the agreement in 2048 will be an important key. If the negotiation of various countries fails, Antarctica may become a place for foreign powers to show their military strength, patrol in the Arctic Circle, and the United States and NATO also send warships to patrol the Arctic waters regularly. For all mankind, Antarctica is best to maintain the status of the current research mecca. Competition is the nature of human beings, but it may destroy the last paradise in the world. Here is Monoponey. Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.